Hey guys, good morning. It's Saturday. It's about 20 degrees. It's freezing cold. I'm here in Georgetown. I just went to Baked and Wired, which is a hippie coffee shop back there. The reason is they make these cinnamon rolls that, like, well, if God wanted a cinnamon roll, it's the kind of cinnamon roll he would order. Yeah, I mean, they're really good. So let me show you these. So we grabbed a couple croissants and then some cupcakes, but here are the cinnamon rolls. Let me see if I can pull these babies out. I had to cut that. There they are. Ooh, yum. So I was gonna show you my croissant, but well, it's gone. I also got you guys cupcakes. You want a cupcake? Chocolate and vanilla. Oh, it's a double rainbow. And I got some of it there too. Trunk of my car, and these are the gloves that you guys bought. Your donations went to buy these gloves. We carry these with us in the winter time. I put a bunch in my pocket, and if I see some homeless guys, I hand them out to them. Let's go see what's going on today in DC. Hey, good morning guys from the Washington Monument grounds, where we've got a helicopter coming back from Camp David. Yeah, the week's got to get going. Got to get back to work. So am I. I'm out here hiking. It's cold. It's like, well, on paper it's 32, but the wind chill is much, much colder. We got a lot of gloves in our pockets in case we see some homeless guys. We'll help them out today. Anyway, I don't know what I'm going to do after the helicopter. Maybe we'll go see some other planes. So as you can see, the snow has kind of melted. It rained yesterday pretty heavily. Unfortunately, now I'm walking through like little bombs of goose dung. It's all over the place. He's a decoy as well.
Biden landt bij het Witte Huis. Alles afgezet. En daar is Biden bij het Witte Huis. Bokjes staan. Pak maar mee, lieverd.
Always something. A little bouncy. It takes about a minute or two to slow down the helicopter. But we will see if we can see him. There's the Marine. He'll see. The president.
Came in from campaign.
That's what I thought. I just thought maybe they had a result on it.
There he goes. See in the window?
Yeah.
Oh, he's walking this way.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, this guy right there. That's him.
That's his wall.
That's him.
Yeah.
That's him.
Yep, there it was. Gray hair.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Absolutely.
Good job, Penguin 6.
Yep.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. 45 minutes late. 45 minutes late, and it's below 0 Celsius. It's below 32. That was not fun. Hope you enjoyed that. So I've warmed up in the car. We just gave out a pair of gloves to this poor fella here. I've tried to help him in the past. He's a bit off, if you know what I mean. But he took the gloves. He took the gloves today. It's that cold. So on my left is the subway, the Silver Line, and this subway is going to go all the way to Dulles Airport pretty soon, actually. Like as early as next year, we're going to see trains running from downtown to Dulles Airport, which has been on the books, something they've been working on for about 10 or 15 years. No, we're not flying anywhere today. So guys, we're out at Dulles Airport, and I wanted to show you something. I am going to show you a foreign military base on U.S. soil. So out at Dulles Airport, this is the air freight section where all the air cargo is. There's a big FedEx plane. But hidden out here with all the air cargo is, well, this air cargo building. And you see, this air cargo building handles one customer and one customer only, the German Army. Yes, this is a German military base on U.S. soil here at Dulles Airport. I guess the Luftwaffe will use this, or any other German military unit, when they need liaison work with the United States for military purchases. For example, if the German military needs to buy American weapons, or if the Americans want to buy German weapons, or if German troops want to practice at American military base, this is their port of entry. This is the liaison office for the German military here in the United States. So it's not like there are troops marching left and right and all that here on the base. The base is more of just a logistics facility. They do, however, have like a German Christmas market, and they have a few other things they coordinate with the German embassy. But here you go, guys, a German military base on U.S. soil. They even have a little German guardhouse. I don't don't think anyone actually works in there. I think that's just for show. So our destination is actually back behind Dulles. This little side road will take us. So, well, you know about the Air and Space Museum on the mall. Many of you don't know about this one. Hey guys, I just couldn't get enough airplanes today, but I didn't want to go outside to see them, so we are down here, the Air and Space Museum Annex at Dulles Airport, filled with the big planes. Let's take a walk through this massive hangar and take a look at all the aircraft, including a space shuttle. So most kids my generation know this plane from Baba Black Sheep, a World War II TV show. This is the F-4U Corsair. And over here is one of the Flying Tigers. This is a P-40. These are the planes that flew over China with the American Volunteer Force. In fact, here's a little tidbit. Pappy Boyington, who was the commander of the Black Sheep Squadron, he got his start in the P-40s over with the Flying Tigers. Interesting connection. The fastest plane ever made, well, ever acknowledged. That is the SR-71 Blackbird. Let's go take a look at that. So they have virtual hosts here on TV and cameras who will talk to people about different aircraft. And SR-71, we'll go over there in a bit. What was this one called? The Voodoo? No, Thunder Chief. F-105 Thunder Chief. God, that's a big plane. F-105, and this is a SAM-2, SA-2. This is a Russian missile, Soviet missile. And these were used. It was one of these rockets that brought down Gary Powers in the U-2. The U-2 spy scandal was brought down by one of these missiles. And here you have the air cavalry. This is a Cobra. Oh, cool. This aircraft also served in Somalia back in the early 1990s. And of course a Huey, the UH-1, the most common helicopter in Vietnam. Still in use in some areas. This is a CH-46. I've actually flown on one of these. They flew me on one of these to demonstrate that they needed to get rid of these. It was a really beat up CH-46. It was replaced by the V-22 Ospreys. Now this plane down here is incredibly famous. This is the only aircraft. Oh, hang on a second. This is the X-35, which became the F-35. This is the engine that does the vertical thrust. So this engine sits in the plane, but it can vector the thrust so that the F-35 can take off vertically. Now this seaplane is pretty unique because this is one of only 4 planes left in the world that was at Pearl Harbor on December 7th, 1941. This seaplane was attacked at Pearl Harbor in 1941. The Sikorsky JRS-1. It's the only aircraft in the museum that was at Pearl Harbor on December 7th. There were 10 of them at the Navy base when the Japanese attacked. And these planes took off to go look for the fleet, the Japanese fleet. But, well, they didn't find it. So this plane was originally painted silver. Yeah, this was the silver color. But a few days after World War II started, they repainted it blue. But you can see the blue is kind of faded, and the silver is coming back underneath the blue. It's really blue looking there, isn't it? Pretty cool. So this is a Loon missile, XV-1 buzz bomb that we captured from World War II from the Germans and then repurposed as our own. Pretty wild. Oh, I remember this is Super Sabre? I can't remember. Yeah, it is a Super Sabre, F-100. Now you guys, you're like, how do you know all these airplanes? The reason is, I used to build models of all these airplanes. When I was a little kid, I had lots of models. That's what we did before we had video games. We built models. So here's an F-18 and the Blue Angel coloring. And then of course over here, the F-14, famous from Top Gun. These are retired now, but I think the Iranians have a few of these. I don't think they still fly them though. God, it was a big, big aircraft. So you ever read the book Flight of the Intruder? Well, that is an intruder. That's the electronic warfare version, the EA-6. Originally there was an A-6, but then they have this like two-seater model that does electronic warfare. Oh, here's an X-35, which was the predecessor for the F-35. Oh, there's an intruder. There's an A-6. So that's an A-6, and that's the EA-6. Lots of aircraft here. There's an F-4 Phantom over there. There's a little Scout Piper Cub. Look at the silver on this. Boy, does that scream like 1950s America. The Shooting Star, the T-33 Shooting Star. And over here, the F-86 Sabre. This was the plane that they used throughout the battles in Korea. And this is the MiG that they went up against in Korea more often than not. The MiG-15, first flown in 1947, and a lot of it in Korea. So there are approximately 17,000 of these jets. This one was actually Chinese, and not North Korean. The Chinese military was using the MiG-15, and the U.S. Marine, our museum got it about 20 years ago. There's the F-4. That was our main fighter in Vietnam. And when in Vietnam, this aircraft would go up against this, the MiG-21. Messerschmitt 163 Comet. The first and only tailless rocket-powered interceptor. Funky. It wasn't even a jet. It was a rocket. Cool. And speaking of rockets, let's go in here. There we go. That is the Discovery. We used to have the Enterprise here, but then they moved that and brought us the Discovery. Tiles really well. When you go under here, every tile has a number on it, so they knew where they went. If they'd fall off, they could replace them and stuff like that. You can see the burn marks from the last return. So hanging from the ceiling like a mobile is early satellites of the US, replicas of satellites that have gone into orbit. Now the thing about this hangar, not only do they display the big aircraft, but this is where they work on the old aircraft. This is where they rebuild aircraft that they have. That, for example, is Blackbird. That's a B-26 bomber, the most decorated aircraft in Europe. I think it flew more missions than any other aircraft. Blackbird. And there, over there is a World War I plane and a balloon. They even had some cool stuff. Let's see what else is around. Yeah. So this is the World War II German aircraft. That's a flying wing they captured from the Germans, I think. And this is a Japanese suicide bomb torpedo plane. A bit crazy. Fly that into a ship. Japanese seaplanes. Over here, some German funky looking planes. German bombers. Now the more famous, like Messerschmitt and whatnot, they're downtown at the main museum. There's a Heinkel HE-219. Over here, this was one of the planes that was used by the Red Tails. You know the story of the Red Tails, the Tuskegee Airmen. They flew these Thunderbolts, the P-47 Thunderbolts. And up there, that is the B-29, the Enola Gay, the plane that dropped the nuclear bomb, or the atomic bomb, on Hiroshima. The Enola Gay is here. And this is a Hawker Hurricane. Now this plane, and everybody looks about the Spitfire, but I believe the Hurricane had as much a role in the Battle of Britain, if not more, than the Spitfire. I believe there were more of these flying than Spitfires. And over here, this is a Sopwith Camel. Now we're in the World War I section. This was the most significant and famous aircraft of the Allied forces. Now up there, that's a P-51. Now it's not in its military colors, but in racing colors. P-51 is a popular plane for racers. This is the 707. This is the German trimotor, I think, over here. Tom's the Junkers Ju-52, their first big commercial aircraft. And there is the Concorde. Boy, they had to squeeze that thing in here. It is so big. Now this is the military version of the Constellation. Constellation was like the first pressurized passenger plane, if I recall. This is what Howard Hughes had bought for TWA. He used the Constellations to put TWA on the map. Though this is a military version. And over here, there we go. That is the very first presidential helicopter. That helicopter right here was flown by Dwight Eisenhower. I don't know what the call sign was because it is an Air Force helicopter, but Dwight Eisenhower was the first president to fly on a helicopter. It's H-13 on 1957. There you can see a helicopter on the south lawn. This is a crop duster, but it's painted up to look like one of the planes, Dusty Crop Hopper, which was in the Planes, Fire and Rescue, which was a sequel to some of the Cars movies. This, I believe, is a solar-powered plane. One of the NASA solar-powered planes. And there is a ground level view of the SR-71 spy plane. Such a cool aircraft. No longer in use today, unfortunately. SR-71 had some interesting landing gear. Back in here is the World War I section, but also some of the early pioneers of flight. It's crazy thinking guys used to go up in those things. This is a German plane. What's it, I think? The SPAD, yeah. Because it would be nice if I would fly a spy plane. So, early seaplanes. So guys, that was my day. I've got to go pick up my kid from school. Sorry if you thought it was boring inside, but you know, it's really cold and I just didn't feel like staying outside any longer than I had to. Tomorrow, who knows what we'll bring, but if you subscribe, click that subscribe button, you'll see me tomorrow. We'll show you something from Washington and we'll try to make it interesting. All right, thanks for watching. Bye-bye. How was your day?
It's okay.
What's your homework in?
Stuff.
Just stuff. All right. Nando's make you feel better?